morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day so far. Good morning, Daniel. Hopefully, you're having a great day. Just wanted to show you guys some of the rainfall totals from yesterday. We did get about 1/4 of an inch of rain for portions of the mountain, so Boone and Jefferson recording just under those numbers, which was beneficial for places like Deep Gap and Watauga County, still dealing with the wildfire. Here's the thing, we're not seeing enough rain to really help with the overall drought situation, at least over the next few days, but any kind of help with wetting the trees, wetting the leaves, wetting any other vegetation, and just not having the additional dryness and the wind and things like that can help, of course, active wildfires. Good morning, Brian. Now, across the rest of the area, it was not nearly that much. You can see less than 1/10 of an inch for Morganton, less than 5/10 of an inch for Shelby, and even less than that for most of the area. However, Charlotte did record 1/100 of an inch, which did break the 26-day dry streak. It was our longest of 2023. And of course, that's one of the reasons why we have this drought conditions across our area. Now, if you look at the 22 counties that have the deepest black shading around them, those are our local counties that are included in this. So we actually serve mountains, so Ash, Watauga, Avery County, all the way down toward the Sandhills of South Carolina, so Chester, Lancaster, and Chesterfield counties. So all of our counties, I would say about 60 to 65% of them are now under severe drought conditions. That's a 3 out of 5. The rest, mountains, a little bit of the foothills, and over toward parts of Union, Anson, and a little bit of Cabarrus County, and even parts of Rowan and Stanley under moderate conditions, so 2 out of 5. So we're not at our worst. We're certainly not at our best. There's a tiny sliver of red. If you look closely at a map, that's a 4 out of 5. That's an extreme. That is over toward the Greenville-Spartanburg area, and that's actually something that the Charlotte area hasn't seen since about 2008. There was about a year between about August 2007 to September 2008 that portions of the Charlotte metro we're under really bad drought conditions, so a D4 or a D3 or a D4. So that extreme and exceptional you see there. Thankfully, we haven't seen that in quite some time. But unfortunately, if we don't see more rain here in the near term, we could be on the way to that. But winter is actually the best time to kind of get caught up on water condition or drought conditions, I guess, by getting more water because the plants, vegetation don't need as much water because our sun angle is lower, we have more cloudy days, things like that. So this is really the time of year that we do hope to get rain. We just want slow, steady rain over a long period of time. We don't want a lot over a short period, and of course we need some. So since midnight today, so this is not including the totals I showed you for yesterday, we've recorded about 5/100 of an inch for portions of Charlotte, Monroe, about 7 or so for Lancaster, Rock Hill, about 8 for Gastonia, and you can see 8.2 for Cheraw. So it's not a ton, but again, we're kind of moving there in the right direction. So it's nice to at least see a few of these totals kind of adding up. The one thing that I will say is kind of a negative here with today's rainfall is that I don't expect to see additional accumulation up in the mountains, which just because of the active wildfires there, probably the place where I'd like to see a little bit more rain today. But it's good news at least that we're seeing it somewhere. And now, as I look at our maps right now, we're not seeing a lot of active rain reaching the ground. When you look at satellite, it's important to note that a lot of the moisture that you see here, that's shaded in green, can sometimes be what's called a virga, which is precipitation that doesn't reach the ground because it goes through a column of dry air and evaporates. But it can also be drizzle, which sometimes is just not enough to reach the ground completely. Like you might feel it on your head a little bit, but it's not actually accumulating. And so, because of that, we know it's actual precipitation, but drizzle is about a fourth of the size of a regular raindrop. So it's just really, really small. So it just doesn't have the same kind of impact. So what I like to do is I like to kind of filter away a little bit of the mess and show you what's actively falling and what I would call true rain. So we are seeing some activity here in portions of the metro. So Mecklenburg County, we have Gaston County, Lincoln, Cleveland County, Catawba County, right now in Cabarrus County, Stanley, Rowan County, a little bit of light rain in portions of York County, Chester, but not much activity on the eastern side of our area right now. And again, you can see nothing pretty much for areas north of I-40. I think that I-40 and south will be the general trend today, but I think especially south of 85. I think Charlotte will kind of be our dividing line between our better chances for rain. But really, I don't think that the chances are high at all today. In fact, I really do think that we're tapering off already into a lesser chance throughout the afternoon. So scattered now, about a 20% chance this afternoon, As you notice, as we go futurecast hour by hour overnight, the clouds are still really, really dense. What's important about this is that low cloud cover can still cause drizzle because it has all that moisture, even if we're not actually seeing true rain falling from the clouds. And I think that will be the case overnight heading into tomorrow morning. And then eventually we are going to see Sunday actually improve significantly. We'll see the second half of Sunday, see the return of sunshine. Sorry, guys, the clicker wasn't wanting to go. Um, Here, is it going to progress? There we go. So you can see clouds staying pretty consistent all really throughout. I feel like Wake Up Charlotte Weekend show tomorrow, which starts at 6 o'clock. And then notice by the second half of our show, so 9, 10 o'clock, we'll see a little bit of sunshine peeking through the clouds. And then the second half of Sunday, we'll actually see a lot of sunshine return. So I don't think it'll be a nice day necessarily, just because of the fact that tomorrow is still going to be relatively chilly with highs in the 80s. It will at least be better than what we're seeing today if you don't like the clouds and you don't like the rain. Now, for me, I love a good nap, right? So today is not necessarily a bad day. I use this graphic in our shows this morning, and I just think it's a good reminder. So when you're driving, any kind of weather impact can cause problems, right? So on a dry road, let's say you're going 40 miles an hour, that's the speed limit. Your stopping distance, if you had to stop abruptly, is about 80 feet or so. And this is just with a regular large sedan, small SUV. Now, when you add in the additional wet roadway, so let's say it's raining, your stopping distance goes up to 160 feet. So that's double a dry road. 80 plus 80 equals 160, right? Math. Yay, we love it. Now, what happens when you have wet road plus wet leaves? If you've ever been outside, I feel like during fall, you've probably fallen or slipped on wet leaves. It happens. I'm a clumsy person sometimes. It definitely happens to me. All right, there we got the 160. Sorry, this clicker's being a little finicky today. So what happens is when you add in the additional slipperiness of the wet leaves, on top of the fact that the ground's already wet, your stopping distance actually goes up to 250. So 250 feet. That's triple the original. So 80 plus 80, 60 plus 80 is 240. So we're actually more than triple that at 250. So I just think this is important to remember. Saturdays, especially, I think when we have the kids' soccer games, Southern Christmas shows back at the Park Expo, we're trying to get to, I don't know, the Polar Express. We bought tickets ahead of time. We're just rushing around. I think it's important to just kind of take that few extra minutes to just be cautious and remember that we're not only trying to keep ourselves safe, but of course, our family members, our friends, the people in the car, and the other people in the cars around us. Just because it's something that I think can get easily overlooked, especially when we're just rushing around. So this morning we were at 48. We really haven't moved much so far this morning. The temperature only in the lower 50s. We'll stay in the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. Because sky conditions will clear a teeny tiny bit, I think we'll be a little bit cooler tomorrow. And that's why I'm expecting our temperatures to stay relatively steady again tomorrow afternoon, even though we see sunshine. So cloudy and cooler today, light rain, patchy drizzle. Still chilly and cloudy in the morning tomorrow, but then we will see some clearing by the afternoon. So overall, definitely a chillier weekend ahead, but it's not going to be terrible. Burn ban still remains in effect for all 30 counties here, kind of hugging along and west of the 77 corridor. We had a lot of questions, of course, about what that means, and Brad put together this graphic, and I absolutely love it. So grills are still okay, but as long as you're cautious. No campfires. Fire pits within 100 feet of a dwelling are allowed unless there's a local ban in place. So remember, these are county level burn bans. You need to know what your local laws are, and of course, local enforcement. And this is something that I think we talk about a lot, especially when it comes to weather knowledge. You are responsible, you as the consumer, myself as the consumer, for knowing if there's a burn ban in effect locally. So you are responsible for that. So we can't talk about the fact that we didn't know, things like that. We are responsible for knowing that. We're responsible for knowing we're in a drought. We're responsible, of course, for knowing the rules and, of course, keeping ourselves and our neighbors safe. So as we look ahead to the Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, our coldest night this upcoming week is actually going to be Monday morning after this mess is cleared out. I actually think we could see a little bit of patchy frost Monday morning, low of around 35. The afternoon, 63. This is the day we're probably most normal for November standards. 63, mostly sunny. A little bit warmer on Tuesday by a degree or two. And then our next change comes as we're actually tracking our next chance of rain by the end of the upcoming week. There's still a lot to work out, and models have been flip-flopping a ton. But it does look like we could see some signs of additional scattered rainfall potential Thursday and Friday. and maybe even again as we enter the end of the 10-day forecast. So, a lot to talk about, a lot to look ahead to. The roller coaster ride continues, we know, but I would just caution everybody to one, be mindful, of course, of the burn bans in effect actively right now. Two, if you're sad about the fact that this weekend isn't really super nice, I guess, for in retrospect, weather-wise, know that it is going to be helpful in terms of the wildfires and of course the fact that we do need rain. And then third of all, just being careful, of course, if you're going to be driving in and out. I can see literally on our live cameras how many leaves have fallen. When I came into work this morning, just going into our gate, there were so many leaves covering the ground. So just please be mindful of that, be safe. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your Saturday. If you're a college football fan, I hope that your team wins today. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow morning on Wake Up Charlotte Weekend starting at 6 a.m. Kaylin and myself. And we hope to see you there. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you on Sunday. Be safe out there, everybody.